The Property Show, we bring you closer to the industry's major players and captains of industry, from land management to start your foundation, all the way up to furnishing and decorating your property as desired. Modern and luxury living for Rwanda in Rwanda. The Property Show.
Welcome to the Property Show that takes you through real estate development, and today we are talking about affordable housing. By year 2022, the government of Rwanda plans to achieve urbanization at 35%, and 86% has to be affordable houses. In today's program, we caught up with Rwanda Housing Authority and other people that are into this sector, giving us a clear line of how this is being implemented. But before we get into this conversation, let me share with you today's interior designing. Welcome to the Property Show. My name is Brenda.
The Property Show brings you an in-depth analysis of the country's real estate development. Advice and tips from property owners, engineers, and finance entities that will lead you to owning your dream home. The Property Show.
In today's interior designing tips, I'm going to share with you a few things that you need to put in your bedroom to give it that look that is welcoming after a very long day. When it comes to accessories of the bedroom, number one I'll go with is the throw blankets. Now these, they might not look so functional, but let me tell you, they actually are. Number one, they will add color to your bedroom. Number two, you can use this throw blanket to cover your feet on chilly nights. Number three, you can cover it on your shoulders when you're watching TV in bed, but you don't want to tuck in. And lastly, you can actually use it when you're sitting in your bedroom and you're reading a book in your chair just there, and you don't have to wear a sweater or something else. You can always use a throw blanket. Lay it down under your feet, where you put your feet, just under there, and it will be colorful and to bring in a new vibe to the bed. Another accessory that you should add to your bed is the toss pillows. And now, these toss pillows are really great because they come in different colors and patterns and fabrics. And these are things that you need to add to your beddings to give it more life. But the trick here is to use less pillows. Make sure at least you have 3 pillows, and then you can add in these toss pillows to give it more life. Another thing that you need to look at when decorating your bedroom and you want to give it that life, it's lighting. You need to have different sources of light. You can have bedroom standing side lamp, you can have a ceiling lighting, you can have a floor lighting. All those are sources of lighting. They don't have to be showstoppers. You can just pick one to be the accent of them all. You can have maybe a small chandelier that is so beautiful on your ceiling, and it's going to bring out all the lighting that you have, but it's a decor itself. So go on and shop for lights. It's always a good thing to have the kind of light that you can control, because you can choose to switch off the ceiling and probably the side lamp and just have the floor lighting. Another thing you need to look at when you're decorating your bedroom is a large art. Yes, large art. I mean, as these small collections of arts, it's beautiful, but it's not as outstanding as having one large piece of art. Another thing that I would like you to consider if you are redecorating or decorating your bedroom is think about the area rug. Now, don't rule it out just because your bedroom is all carpeted. It's nice, but then this area rug is going to bring in a new color, it's going to bring the texture, and I mean, it's simply going to bring the beauty that your carpet doesn't have. They are not that expensive and it's not that big, so you can actually have more than one that you can switch according to what you want or how you feel. Another thing that you should consider if you're decorating your home is considering house plants. Yes, everyone needs a house plant, at least one or two, because these house plants, they purify the air, they bring in the freshness of nature. I mean, it is simply beautiful, and even looking at it, it's just beautiful, it's breathtaking. Now, stick with easy choices like jasmine that helps promote sleep quality, lavender reduces anxiety and stress, the rosemary that improves your memory, the aloe vera that we all love and do not serve a lot of purpose. And another easy choice that you should consider is the snake plant. Now this is so common here and almost everywhere. You can find it almost everywhere. It's simple to keep and maintain. And lastly, you need something personal in your bedroom, because this is almost the only room in your house that is actually personal. And that's it for today's interior decoration. I hope that you picked one or two things that you can apply to your bedroom. The population of Rwanda is estimated to grow up to 12.5 million people this year alone. This projects an increase from 17% in 2012 to 35% of people living in urban areas by year 2020. This, therefore, requires quality infrastructure such as roads, schools and hospitals, but most importantly, housing to accommodate the growth of her population. As for now, shortage of affordable houses is one of the biggest challenges the city of Kigali faces. But what are the key factors that are contributing to this insufficiency of affordable houses?
When you see numbers, how the population keep growing, and you see how the infrastructure development is growing, it's not on the same pace. So the need to have more infrastructure, it's very important, but most importantly, affordable housing. Because if you see the income of our population, the majority of them are small income earners. So in terms of infrastructure, it's very important to have affordable housing for them so that they can afford to live and make more income. Otherwise, it's very expensive and it takes a very big portion of their income to find a decent accommodation.
First of all, land is really expensive because sure we have small land in Kigali. It's not big enough comparing to the population, which makes it, because even everyone wants to have maybe land, but it's not really easy. In our engineering works, when we talk of affordability, we also have to understand the design. The design can also contribute to make that house affordable, because when you are designing a house, you have to make sure that you know the standard. When you, for example, make a bedroom of 5 by 5 meters, that's really big, which is not necessary. Make it 3 by 3, because the more you overuse the spaces, the more you will create some extra costs. And when it comes to engineering, when you design a house, for example, ground floor and the first floor, and you over-design the structure of that house, it means that the owner will use extra money. That also can contribute to affordability.
When you want to achieve the affordability for any construction, let's say in housing, in our sector in housing, so you need to consider 3 parameters: the design, the materials you intend to use, and the construction technology. Design, of course, you need to look at the optimization of the spaces, just to make your house or your building more functional in terms of the space allocation and so and so. So once you achieve that, your design is okay in terms of space optimization. Now that's number one. You are going in this affordable construction. Next is materials. Your choice of materials. Locally made materials, of course, are less expensive than the other imported materials. So when you think of your design, you also think of the materials you will be using for your house. Then the technology you intend to use. We do have many technologies, there are new technologies which are coming up. So the choice of your construction technology or techniques will drive also to have an affordable construction.
Due to how imported materials are expensive, the country is attracting manufacturers to produce locally. but also conducting studies on traditional construction materials such as rukarakara on how they can be reintroduced, though this begs for questions of quality and durability.
Our local made materials are also subject to some tests to comply with the standards in use or in force in the country. So let's say the cement, it's certified. Local made cement, it's certified by the Office for Standardization, the RBS, and the other materials. You know, when you are on a construction site, if you are a contractor, you are also requested to carry out some tests on materials you are using.
Yeah, I really think that even in Rwanda, our local materials are really strong, and they have good quality and high quality. Everywhere in the world, they can make low quality materials. Rwanda Standard Board can inspect those manufacturers and make sure that they are making good quality, good materials. It is possible we have raw material ready.
For me, I see it as there are two schools of thoughts. One will say all the traditional construction material, but other people who are even more innovative should think another technology in construction material. Another technology can be the old material plus something else, or even invent something new, because it's possible. If you see other countries who managed to get affordable houses, they came up with appropriate technology, which were affordable in terms of pricing, but also in terms of weather and climate condition were fitting with the climate features. So I think for me, I buy I'm of those one who are in the school of thought of developing proper construction material technology which fits or matches with our weather, and that one should be affordable.
Other than owning a home, those who cannot afford to build or buy a house due to high interest rates, rental market also remains extremely expensive as developers prefer commercial buildings and target estates for high-end residents.
Housing is part of the human needs. So when you spend more money on housing and yet your part of your income is low, so you survive actually. And what is needed should be an affordable mechanism for small income earners to be able to finance their housing scheme, so that they can get either their own house if possible, but also they can also get affordable rental. So both options should be available. But at the moment, I don't think there is an affordable rental system in Kigali. Investors need to work in the sector, to invest money in the sector. One, it's a profitable business, but two, they need to invest differently from the old system, because if they keep investing the same way, we will still have expensive accommodation. So for it to be affordable, we need to do differently. So the whole spectrum of infrastructure development should be changing, starting from the construction material. We already have a conducive investment policy on affordable housing. So the construction material, the technology itself, the management of utility, water, power, the whole energy system should be efficiency managed, so that we can get the whole package at efficient rates. So, but if they keep investing in the same way we were doing it like in the past, we still have expensive accommodations.
What if the government can develop apartments? Because when an investor or a private sector does it, for him or her, they look for benefits and big benefits. But I think when it comes to government, they may look at the society to support them. Public transport also should be considered, because it helps people to travel from their home place to the working place. That also is an issue of affordability of a house.
I think what people should understand, I'm talking on the side of the consumers, either those one who want their own houses or rental, they should understand that to own a house should be an option. So people should have access to affordable rentals. So it's not mandatory to have your own house. Rather, it's your right as a human being to have an accommodation. So people should see in that way, and people invest more on productive activities so that they can get income and be able to rent or buy when they can afford it, but the rental should be one of the options people should afford on daily basis.
With plans to review Kigali and other secondary city master plans to accommodate more affordable houses, Rwanda Housing Authority urges developers to optimize the land.
So land use is really something we do urge all involved stakeholders in this construction sector to think about. We are really, let's say, working on that, where when the elaboration of the master plans. These days, we plan to review the existing master plans of the Kigali city and the other secondary cities. So this optimal land use is one of the, let's say, element we are going to focus on. So we are urging people, the developers, to have their project in a way of using the land in an optimal way. So urging them to go for high density housing or mass housing. So to have many housing units on a smaller Muslim, up to even 100 units per hectare. Yes. So this means we need to think of building our houses in a vertical way.
For the country to achieve this goal of affordable housing by year 2022, which will also impact its economic growth, investing in new technology, promotion, as well as utilization of locally made products should be made a priority.
Rwanda Housing Authority is a regulator. We want to regulate the housing sector, and we do believe it is well regulated, and as I said, it has an effect on economic growth. Well regulated will mean well organized, and economic growth will come as a consequence of that organization.
Most importantly, invest in technology before construction, because when you talk about construction, everyone grabs the normal construction material, and it will come with the high costs. So whatever you can do. So the best way you can do an affordable project will be to change the technology, and that comes with the research and development. So it's imperative for me to do it. In countries where government managed to invest in affordable housing, it had worked. But at the end, even if the government will invest it, that investment will be managed by privates, because it's known that private sector is more efficiently in terms of management, in terms of efficiencies. So for me, I would even advise a public-private partnership where government brings in some capital or equity, and then private sector also, and then it can be a joint investment.
The engineers and the architects around in Rwanda, please make sure you advise your clients what they should do. Because you are professionals, you know what you do. Make sure you are the one to support them, not to spend their money for nothing. Even our local materials are really high quality. For example, if you use burnt clay bricks for elevation and you buy good ones, they are really strong. If you use our local cement, they are really strong. Even paint, why going outside? Why going anywhere else? We have some manufacturers in Rwanda that really make good materials. Let's first believe ourselves that our material can work and can last long as we wish.
of the fun of house hunting is visualizing yourself in that house once the seller clears out. But wait a minute, when that seller is gone, so is a lot of the information about that house that is now yours and all the neighborhood that you're going to live in. In today's advices and tips, I'm going to share with you questions that you need to ask the seller before they move out. One of the questions that you need to ask someone who's moving out of the house that you're moving in, can be a seller or someone who's been renting that house, is asking the history of that house, how it's been maintained, what system is broken, all those kind of things. You need to know them. I mean, if your house has a garden, that means there's someone who's been taking care of that garden. How about you ask for their phone number if you like what they've been doing? Another thing, find out if there are things that actually works, but they need to be turned on hardly, they are wonky, or it's hard to activate them. Another thing that will happen if you get time to speak to your seller or someone who's moving out of the house that you're moving in, ask them about the upgrades and the maintenance that they've been doing to this house, so you know the warranties and the receipts that you need to ask for, or even the menus of some of the appliances that are in this house that you're not familiar with. If you don't ask for that, you're going to struggle, or you might end up going back and looking for them when you should have done that actually before moving in that house. And lastly, you need to ask where to go and who to talk to, because this person knows more about this neighborhood. So you need to ask them who comes to collect money for the trash, who comes to collect that money for security, get their numbers so that you can stay in touch. If you need to go to for Umuganda, who do you talk to? Now that's all we had for today. I hope that you picked something. Jeddah Tower, previously known as the Kingdom Tower, is a skyscraper under construction in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia at a primary cost of $1.23 billion if completed in 2020 as planned. The Jeddah Tower will reach an unprecedented height, becoming the tallest building in the world as well as the first structure to reach the 1 kilometer mark. It's the centerpiece and the first phase of a $20 billion project, proposed development as known as the Jeddah Economic City, that will be located along the Red Sea on the northern side of Jeddah. The development of Jeddah Tower seeks to bring great change in terms of development and tourism to the city of Jeddah, which is considered the most liberal city in Saudi Arabia. The Jeddah Tower would be by far the tallest building or structure in the world to date, standing at 180 meters taller than the Burj Khalifa in Dubai. The Jeddah Tower's 120-acre plot with surrounding buildings will be the first of the three-phase Jeddah Economic City development. The focal point of the development and Jeddah Tower's primary use will be to house a four-season hotel, four-season service apartments, Class A office spaces, and luxurious condominiums. The tower will also have the world's highest observatory. The primary design of Jeddah Tower is a Chicago-based architect, Andrian Smith, the same architect who designed the Burj Khalifa. A luxurious look for the office can give that sense of professionalism while conveying focus on your workers and visitors. Now, that may sound a little bit expensive, but remember, at the property show, we make sure we give you ideas that you can use and stay on the budget. When it comes to decorating your office or giving it that luxurious look, pick clean and consistent furniture pieces. In terms of furniture, choose ones that are simple in design and consistent throughout the office. Chairs, desks, and other pieces don't need intricate designs or embellishment to make it stand out or look as beautiful as you would want it to be. What's effective is maintaining consistency in shapes and colors for all your furniture to give your space a sense of organization and symmetry. Another thing that you need to consider when you're decorating your office and you want to give it that high-end look is limiting your color palettes. If you're going to paint your office, make sure you keep it darker or the neutral colors, because that brings out the luxurious of the office. It gives us that richness. Another thing I would like to talk about here is setting a focal point. The focal point can be anything. It can be a piece of art that you're hanging in your office. It can be a piece of furniture, but it has to be something that you want when someone comes into your office to direct their eyes on. So pick one statement piece and make it your focal point. Another thing you need to focus on if you want to give your office that high-end look is creating space. These are luxurious offices. Usually they have space. There's space for almost everything. But then if your office is small, now you're thinking, how can I create space when my office is already small? Here's what you can do. Declutter all the things that you don't need. Anything that you don't use on a daily basis, you don't need to put it there. Hide them. And then there's this thing of dangling wires that are not necessary. Make sure you hide them. The key point here is keeping it clean. Anything that is not necessary, hide it. So what gives an office a glamorous look is focusing on these few things. Number one, make sure you have the right painting in your office. Number two, make sure you have a focal point. Direct a human eye to something where you want them to focus on. Number three, give it enough lighting. Yes, make sure you have enough lighting in your office, and then make sure that it's clean. Declutter all the things that are not necessary. Well, that sums up today's program. I hope that you enjoyed this. But before I go, let me remind you, you with a property that you'd like us to visit, please go to our social media or call the number on your screen and let us know, and we'll be right up with you. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for being part of the Property Show. My name is Brenda, and I wish you well.